Welcome to In the Loop Podcast, a podcast that is inspired by the breakaway roping lifestyle. I'm your host, Jordan Jo, professional rodeo athlete, NFR qualifier, and business owner. My goal is to promote the sport of breakaway roping, alongside with celebrating and highlighting elite competitors in and out of the arena. This podcast shares the raw and the real of breakaway roping, bringing you behind-the-scenes stories from competitors, producers, leaders, and the trailblazers, all sharing stories of the Western culture and the lifestyle that they live daily. Join me to talk about breakaway roping, the history, the present, and the future of our sport. If you want to be in the loop, you're in the right place. Thank you for joining us. Take a listen. Okay, guys, so today we are here with the Click Thompson. You've heard of him. Click. He's everywhere. You see him. He's all over the place. We're talking about his really cool rad logo. And we're starting this series off with a bang. You know, we're on the road. Rodeo summer has started. We're on the rodeo road. You know, you name it, we're there. We're going from South Dakota to Texas to Oklahoma to Arkansas. We're just getting started. You know, we're fixing to hit a Reno. All of these things are going on, and so it's we're in the heat of rodeo season. So, Click Thompson, very excited to have you on the show today. What you got going on?
First of all, thank you for having me. Appreciate it. We're in the heat of preparation, getting ready to go, and you know, when you guys leave, we leave too, and we go chasing y'all, and it's kind of a cool juxtaposition of we're kind of putting in the same amount of miles as you guys. So, and it's cool to be like right alongside y'all and experience some of the same things. And this is kind of when the season's already started, but this is when the story really starts to come into light, and you get to see kind of where people are sitting and where how they're moving around and just getting pushing towards the end of the season and getting ready for Vegas. So, you know, it seems like it's so far away. Like I saw, what was it? Pendleton's 100 days away. So, you know, you know, it's that we're going. So
when we were talking about our Pendleton Letterbuck stories a little bit earlier, some of mine were in the arena. We were both talking about how you're not safe, whether you are a contestant and or a photographer there. You know, hold your hat, grab your horses. You know, it's going to get Western. So, but you know, one of the coolest things, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier. You know, we all sit as an athlete. I think we get a little narrow-minded to thinking that like it's all about us, right? The rodeo is all about us. Obviously, everybody just cares about us. I mean, what more could you want? And so there's so many moving parts. And one of the things I love about rodeo is all the people I've gotten to know, and you are one of them because you're everywhere, literally. So talk to me what it's like. You know, let's break it down. What is it like being a photographer behind the scenes? Pro rodeo, and like tell me a little bit about your story, where you came from and how you got to where you are.
Oh man, it's a long, convoluted story. For those who don't know, I was born in Tachikawa, Tokyo, Japan. My dad was in the Navy, and but both of my parents from Virginia. I'm from the East Coast, Southeastern Circuit originally, and before I actually had a circuit, and did that a bunch. I went to always have been in the arts. My mom was pretty smart and knew that I had an artistic background, and she would see me draw. So went into graphic design for my bachelor's in college, and then eventually I got my master's in photography. But used to work for my last full-time government signs your deal check was from the Department of Defense. I photographed soldiers and helped them get promoted for about 6 years and things like that. I missed traveling and I was doing PBRs and started getting into rodeo and stuff like that. And I started just doing local bull ridings kind of out our way, and where I'm at, big bull riding, barrel racing country. So that's kind of where, you know, my fascination got with it. I think what kind of brought me to it was, you know, there was always a new picture to be made, you know, and me not coming from the world, I was ignorant to a lot of things. So everything's super fascinating, like where it's just a saddle to you. I'm like, I've never seen a tooled pattern like that before. So like, it's a cool thing to take a picture of, and then just built on that, and then continue to, you know, I guess as you know, as you get better, it grows and you do more things. And so now we've, you know, done the NFR and Pendleton and Cheyenne, and and Houston and all the things. So it's crazy. I mean, it's been a very short period of time. I saw my first buck and bull in 2010. So,
Wow.
which is it's a crazy story when you smash it all together. Like I think the highlights is always cool to tell. Like I saw my first buck and bull in 2010, shot my first bull riding rodeo in 2011, did my first PBR finals in 2016, did the steer open finals 2021 and the NFR. That's a little behind the scenes secret that a lot of people don't know. My buddy Clay Garpy actually got COVID in the middle of the thing and I filled in for him. So, they buck horses 3 times and I shot 4 purse. So it counts to me. And then obviously last year, did the whole deal in the arena, guest appearance as a bullfighter and that whole deal and all that. So yeah. And now we're here. Going
well,
after
and I think you're a very humble soul in the fact that you're like, it's happened so fast and everything. And you told me earlier, man, I'm so blessed, like just how far and how fast it's come. But also I want to say you don't just end up in the NFR arena for no reason, whether you're on the floor or in the dirt. And so man, congratulations. Yeah. What an awesome accomplishment. And one thing that I love about you is that you are like intrigued with us as contestants. Like you said, you were like, where's this tooled pattern? I've never seen this. And like and I think that that's something that I've noticed about the artists, the telling the story and unraveling it. And everybody has their own unique individual way, which I think is so cool,
Mm-hmm.
And just that's too how God created us. We're all unique. Right. And so I just think that that's so neat that you're able to capture that and tell the story. So talk to me a little bit about doing that and kind of what your process is. And I know you probably can't reveal all your secrets because obviously you're Click Thompson. But tell me a little bit about that process because that really intrigues me, behind the scenes.
I think for me, especially in these most recent years, it hasn't been, I think if we go back to the initial thing, it was because I was talking to somebody about this the other day. It wasn't just, we would see classic rodeo imagery and maybe they weren't the best technically as far as how the photograph looked and whoever shot it, how much of a technician they were, but it was a really great moment. And then in my head I'm like, well, why can't we have both? Like, why can't it be really sharp and in focus and look really good and be a great moment? Right. So that kind of became the passion. That's what drives me even to this day. Like when I sit down with a few of my colleagues that really dig into that kind of stuff, it's like, man, this is a great moment, but I would much prefer it be a great moment and a really awesome photo. Because then, like, not only is that person doing everything that they're supposed to be doing, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. But like, as I got involved with it, I think what it got me intrigued was the people. Like, I mean, for me, it's a family reunion every weekend. Like, and I could see you 2 days from today and we'll have a whole new conversation about life and the things that happen. And it'll be the most interesting conversation for me. And so like it's been cool, especially now doing more commercial stuff involved in the space as well. I'm just hanging out with my friends all the time. So like, we get a break. Like I look for like if they do a redraw, that's awesome because then I get to visit for a little bit and then we go back to roping kind of stuff. So and everyone, like you said, everyone's story is a little bit different. Their methods are a little bit different. But I think for me in these last couple of years, it's been really important to me, not just about how the image looks, but how does it feel? When does it give you that nostalgia feeling? Does it take you back to that location? Like, yeah, I know for you, every time you see a picture that has Cheyenne in this, you're going to feel a certain way about it, and it may not even be a picture of you. It could just be that the shape of that arena. And you're like, that's Cheyenne. And it's always going to bring you back.
Brings you back to that place.
So brings you back to that place. So that you think of it, fondly, or and that's always been a fascinating thing to me is about the stories and the moments and like how this one place changed your life, or and so and we all get get these little pieces that we get to pull from stuff, and that's what I mean. I love that and being able to capture that. And I don't know who said it. The quote is, being a photographer gives you the license to steal experiences. And, to be there and just, be able to nitpick and go, oh, I've never seen that before. Or like, like your Spurs, have your name on it. Like, oh, that's a cool picture. Bam. Right. And you may see it a year from now. Oh, when was that? I'm like, I don't know. It's just, I thought it was cool in the moment. But
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about what I can do too, is I can steal that and I have it forever. And then like just going back to like the NFR, there was so many small moments in there. It's like, man, I have that now. So I'm kind of a treasure chest kind of guy too. I like to hold on to some of those cool stuff.
Well, and I think too, we all get to know each other, and that's one of the cool things. Like just like me and you, through rodeo, we've gotten to know each other, and at these different events, and so you start to understand these cowboys and cowgirls storylines. And like you said, you were talking to Sage Kimsey earlier. We were joking about the 4th of July. I said, where are you headed? And you're like, you know what? I'm not going anywhere really until Reno, and then you're moving on. And not that you're not going anywhere, but you've gotten to know these different cowboys and cowgirls. And so where they're at in the heat of the moment, like you said, who's moving up, what's going on. And so it's like, that gives you an insight too, because then you're looking for, hey, this is like make or break right here on the line. I'm capturing this. Like one of my, you're talking about Cheyenne, like the picture that I have that's my favorite is, I have one that I, winning the rodeo and all that which is a really cool picture. But my favorite is like, they got it when I was riding off, and like I looked up and I saw the time and I put my head down and I started to cry. That's the one that's my favorite picture because I remember what it felt like, And so that's funny that you say that. But talk a little bit about the experiences you've gotten to know, these different athletes in and out of the arena and, just their perspectives.
I think for me, what I found is I always look for opportunities too in the arena to kind of make us be humans again. I think, and I discovered this years ago, like I had seen a guy get hurt and I saw him a couple events later and I asked him how he was doing. And that sparked like the biggest friendship. Just me, I said, hey, how you doing? But, and because now it's like, okay, man, this person's not just some old crusty photographer that just wants to take pictures of me and try to make money. It's like, no, dude, I actually care how your day's going. Versa, like I told people, and I've gotten to know a lot of people kind of coming up, like even some of the, like I told Ty Harris the other day, like I was noticing that he was really taking his marketing and his presentation serious and like what people saw. And I say, hey man, like you're doing a good job. Like keep doing that. Like it's because it has power. It's important. It's gonna create more outlets for you. And like and it meant a lot to him for me to come to him and say that. And I do the same things. Like if I notice you're in a rut, I'd be like, hey, it's all right. Like we're good. One of the girls, she's a younger girl. I see her in a bunch of ropings and I always like will stop her. I'm like, you need a game plan? And she's like, and she'll smile because she knows what I'm gonna say. And I'm like, it's score, ride, rope in that order. Right. I know you can rope, but don't forget the first stuff, man. And it's just that me taking that 2 minutes to like make her smile and be like, hey, remember we have a game plan here. Let's stick to that so we can all get some, I'm not in on the Calcutta on you, but I just want you to do good. Yeah. Just little stuff like that. And it just, so you build relationships. And by doing that, then it gives you, I think it helps me because it gives me more access to everyone. I learn more about people and the roping box or like after the rodeo or like, just when we're all hanging out or, 5 minutes because, like I would akin you similar to me, like you just have good gravity and like people just come to you anyway. So if I'm sitting in a group, eventually someone's going to say something to me, even if I don't know anybody in the group. So I'm like, I look for those moments too, just hang out, what's going on. Now more people know me than I know, which is bananas.
Because you're a superstar, it's kind of creepy.
I don't know about superstar. One day we'll be.
I mean, it's a little
one
creepy.
day. Look, it'll be when I have a line. My goal is when I don't know who it is. All the guys that like to give me a hard time. My goal is when they go through like Cowboy Christmas, for them to have to try to avoid this long line that weeds in and out through the deal, and then they come around and they see it's a signing for me. That's the goal, right? Just feel like you've got to be kidding me. Like yeah, it's just continue to build a bond, and like I am just as invested. I want all my friends to do well. When you back in the box, I want you to catch. Like there's no one, and it's funny. It's not so I can sell you a picture, and I want you to catch so you can go to the next one, and I can see you at the next rodeo, and we can continue our horrible addictions together, that kind of thing. I don't want to, it's funny. The last thing I'm concerned about is trying to sell a picture, which is a blessing to be in that space too, where you can go. I mean, if I sell one, I sell one. If I don't, I don't. You know, I get to hang out with my friends and we'll have a beer.
Well, and I think that's really where you know that you love what you do. You're passionate about what you do. And like we were talking earlier, there's a fine line as an entrepreneur and marketing and all of those things that we're so drawn to, that your work speaks for itself, but you also have to step up and do the work too. And so that's pretty neat to see, it's coming sevenfold around, you're reaping what you're sowing and all of those things. So if you had to tell me like top 3 experiences rodeo career for you, what are they?
Top 3 experiences. I'm trying
I mean, whether it's a picture, whether it's a moment, whether it's an encounter. I mean, if you were just going to spit out some, what would they be?
We'll do the easy one. My buddy Matt West told me that it would take me 3 perfs before I had that holy crap moment at the end of fire. I said it didn't take 3. It took 3 horses. It's like once the smoke cleared and for those who've never been on the Thompson Mac is small for a rodeo arena.
Yeah.
But like in that moment, it's like the perfect size. Like when a horse bucks in that deal and like, because the energy in that building it's a whirlwind. Sometimes it's the slowest deal ever and it's the fastest at the same time. Like there's some like when you do 10 purse, there's some purse you don't even remember. Like there's like, and then there's some where it's like, holy crap, man. Like what's going on? There's a lot of really good moments from the NFR. I think what I got, I mean, I could tell you about. Actually, I'm just going to start listing off moments, and then you can cut them as need be. Just from the NFR, when I started doing bull ridings, like I've known Jeff Askey pretty much since I started shooting rodeo. And when we did our check-in and we were doing everybody's headshots, Jeff Askey's the first person to walk through the door. And I kind of stopped everybody, and I was like, I don't know if y'all know, but I've known Jeff for like ever, so it was like a cool moment. Obviously, me and Martha being from Virginia and Martha coming in to do her saddle photo, that was a really cool moment. Like, I've been shooting Martha since she was swinging the rope wrong. And, and for her to come in there, like, we didn't even say a word. Like, she smiled, I smiled, I gave her a hug, and we just took the picture from her saddle. And now I'm like, dang it, I should have jumped in and got one. But there'll be more opportunities for that. But it was cool to be that person to get to shoot that deal. Obviously, when I got the call to shoot the NFR, I had just officiated my first wedding the day before, and I'm sitting in the hotel, and I get this call, and they're like, "You want to do?" And it's funny because I had forgot that I kind of knew when they were going to vote on it and do all that stuff, and I get the call that day, and I see my buddy call me, like, why is he calling me? But I knew that he was on the board. I'm like, oh, this might be it. I'm like, hello, and it's not even him. It's Josh Edwards going, so you wanna do the NFR? I'm like, come on now. Like, what are we doing? Well, of course I want to do. Like, yes, I want to sign up for all the stress and all the crazy things. But it's always cool when someone freaks out and sees me, and I'm like, I don't understand what the big deal is, but yes, let's get a photo. Yes, let's visit. Just there's some moments where I sit back and I go, man, not only do I get to be around all of you guys, but you guys are my friends. Like I can call you. I can, it's so, you take it for granted sometimes where you're like, dude, where you stop and you kind of look for a moment. You're like, because me as a kid from Virginia, like I shot rodeo, and in 10 years from the day I started shooting rodeo, I was sitting on the grass at Pendleton.
Yeah.
Like, and like laying in the grass at Pendleton, like hanging out, like it was no big deal. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah. It doesn't just happen.
Yeah. Or Tallman getting mad at me at Red Bluff because I didn't text him to let him know I was in town. I was just like, what? Bob Tallman just yelled at me because I didn't text him when I was at the rodeo. I'm like, people would die for those moments. And just to be now synonymous with it and be a part of it. And it's just, it's so cool. And like, you're so blessed to have, it's fun. And
yeah. Well, it's just
Yeah,
neat
and
to like humbling to see it come full circle, and just man, it's just like a moment you're like you want to live there, you want to stay there. You know, it's an aha, full of peace, full of joy. Like, yeah, I got there, I did it. But then now it's like, okay, now what's next? You know, because there's so many opportunities for you that are coming up. You're growing, your brand is growing. So what is, you know, what's next 2, 3, 4, 5 years look like for Click?
so it's funny when I come home, I remembered that I've had two very distinct moments, and it's also usually after the NFR, I go home to Virginia, and I can disappear there because no one knows who Click is there. Like, I mean, other than people who actually I've rodeoed with, they don't. People like until this year, my pastor, my church, who's like my cousin, didn't know people called me Click. Right. So like, and it's funny, like you go home to church and like they don't get it. They don't know that, you know. So it's easier to understand my brother's career because he's a mechanical engineer. Like that's easy. You can that's a job that makes money. You're a rodeo photographer. Like what's the difference? You know? So and I remember when I came home after the NFR in 2021, I saw my roommate Cody, and he was my very first roommate. I moved in with him when I moved to Texas. And I have all these goals and aspirations. And you walk in and you're like, man, he's the first person I saw when I got home. And I'm like, and it was weird how that triggered it. It was like everything I wanted to do, I kind of done. I was like, okay, now what? Because you realize you become you're the same person the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, now what do I want to do? And then after last year was, you know, from just coming off the Steer Open finals and filling in at the NFR. And then you do the NFR Open or the Ram Circuit finals. You get the NFR, your photographer of the year, like it's, you know. So then you're like, okay, well, what is success now? Like, how do I want to do that again? Like, because there's a lot of mental and physical stress that goes into that. And the good thing is like me smiling, and that's just who I am. So that's not a facade or like me faking that. So that's easy to keep doing that. But like, man, what's next? Or how do you want to grow? And then I was sitting, I don't know, I think I was on the phone or somewhere. And I need to start getting it embroidered on my shirts. But I think the goal was for now is to just be great. And I say, it's important to describe it visually. It's the word great, but it's in all lowercase letters. And like to kind of remains humble because it's a big word. And when like I said, I just want to be great, whatever that is. You know, if I don't want to shoot any more rodeos one day, like whatever the next chapter is, I want to be great at that. And if, you know, as I told somebody the other day, like I want to be great, but if EST is on the end of it, I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, I think so. This is funny. This morning, as I'm reading this book. It's called Stronger Than the Struggle. And it was talking about what is success. And it says, I'm like, oh my God, I'm reading this. Okay. So it says, what is winning? We have to remember that real success is living out our best, believing that we are God's best version of ourselves. Mm-hmm. Instead of looking at what is winning, what is success, we should look at God's special design as it pertains to us alone. At the end of the day, success is not something we achieve, it's something we live within, an attitude we develop. And so I thought that was so cool. I'm like, because it's hard, you know, I feel like everybody goes through it, whether you're in the arena, out of the arena, photographer. I mean, it's competition, right? We strive to do better. We strive to be the best version of ourselves. And it's easy for that pressure to come in. And like you said, hey, I've done all these things I wanted to do. Like, now what? But it's like, I thought it was just so cool how it was like, success is something we develop. Like it's a life we live within. It's not a monetary, like, you're photographer of the year, but tomorrow, like everybody's starting at ground zero, you know? And so it's like, so I just thought that was a cool perspective to say like, hey, success is a life that we live, something that we learn and develop within, and it never leaves us. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, you definitely realize over time that like the journey is the destination, you know, and it's a process. Like I remember seeing like a picture I took of Jordan Briggs from the NFR, and PRCA had posted it, and I nerded out on a photo I took because you don't get a lot of opportunities to really look at stuff. Like everything's moving fast. You're trying to get pictures up. Anybody who wants to buy photos, you're trying to get them photos. And I was looking at the picture and I was just looking at the light and like how I had like positioned the lights in the arena and all that deal. And like I nerded out on that. And I realized, I said, man, I love that. Like, and I was actually, it was funny because you were in the roping box the other day at the roping. And I'm talking to Taylor. I'm talking to Taylor Hanchy. And I think your hair was kind of, it's been a long day. So your hair is kind of crazy, right? And she's like, wild hair photos. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm like I love this, right? It's like, we all want to do the big rodeos and we like, trust me, they're awesome. But like, and it was cool because my friend Carla and her sister, Carla is one of my past clinic students and her sister and ropes a bunch. And I was telling them, and I said the same thing to Taylor, I said, you got to fall in love because really, when you look at rodeo, more often than a lot of times, it looks more like these dark evening ropings versus like the big bright lights. Like you got to fall in love with this part of the deal because this is what makes you appreciate the big stuff. And then also the big stuff is what makes you appreciate this because you look back on the little stuff fondly and the struggle, you know, it's like, oh man, I remember that. Like, I love going to some of those smaller deals where it just has that really good roots feel. One, because nothing feels better than feeling appreciated. And I love the big rodeos, but more people thank me just for being there before I even take a picture. And some of those small deals, like when you back in the box, and it's like, oh my God, it's an important person, right? You know, like it's like because to them, like you made a detour going to a big one to come to their rodeo, and they're so fired up you're there, and you know, and that feels good. Like that makes you want to go to another 5 of them, you know, even if you're broke, right? Yeah. So, you know, it's definitely so that's all a part of the journey, and that's where the success is. But like that's what I tell people is, man, fall in love with those little things because a lot of times those little things are always going to be there.
Oh yeah,
you have to look a little harder for them, but yeah.
Well, and those are the defining moments too that really, you know, I think make you refine you through the fire, and they're the moments that you can come back to. You know, when you are in the big bright lights, you come back to those small moments, and you're like, I've done this before. You know,
oh yeah,
and being able to capture like that, you know, for, like you said, the feeling of appreciation. Everybody loves to be appreciated, whether you are a many-time world's champion or whether you are just a normal person. I mean, in which we all are, right? We put our pants on the same way. And so I think that that's a really cool perspective to have and to keep, but very true. I mean, I feel like we have made so many t-shirts through this podcast. Like seriously, it'll be like JoJo and Click or Click and JoJo's t-shirt co. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
Let's work on it. Let's work on it. Like
another think business venture. Here we go.
I'm pretty quotable, but I think it's just I've always tried to. I have the tell me about your life face. So usually in the moments when I like visit with people or like, because genuinely when I say how you doing, it's genuine. Like, I mean, now I don't need all the information. Like, I don't need you to unload. But sometimes that happens. And usually a lot of times when someone unloads, they just need something simple to chew on. And it's like, or one thing I learned from my mom all years ago, whenever like customer service, the thing she was the best at was repeating what someone said to her so they could hear how ridiculous it was. It's like, okay. Yeah, we went to buy tires. There's tires everywhere. But like their computer system couldn't connect to like some satellite. So she's like, so you're telling me because you can't connect to this satellite, you can't sell me a tire, right? And there's 3 more examples of the vehicle of the tire you need. So maybe like, let's just use our eyes today. Like, you know, and then sometimes when you do that for people, it's like, well, you know, maybe you're around the wrong people, or maybe you're making a bad decision, or maybe you're looking at this all wrong. Or if this has happened 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, maybe you're the common denominator and you need to change something, or, you know, and you're like, and I'm not telling you this to like harp on you, but it's just like, oh, you know what? You might be right. You know, I might be right. We'll find
You're
out.
like, you might
And
be right, and I'm going through a tunnel about to lose you. Phone's gonna die. So
yeah. Sorry. Oh, I've done a lot of fake. Hey, my mom's calling. Let me. I'll get back to you.
I gotta take this call right now.
So sorry. I gotta take this call. So sorry. But, oh.
Well, and I think that, I mean, I don't know. Every time I see you, you have a smile on your face. I always get to hug your neck. You're full of joy, and I think that you attract people, or you attract great people. You have a great vibe. You have great energy, and I think that really stands volumes about you. But all the cool things you've got going on, where can we find all the cool things Click's got? I mean, do I get one of those hats, or I mean, what does that look like?
Hats are coming. We're doing playlist hats, t-shirts, and maybe like a crew neck or maybe a hoodie in the fall. But yes, you will get one. Hopefully you get some more Yetis, the infamous Yeti cups that everyone wants with my face on them. I mean, I feel like you should already have one of those, and we need to talk to Peyton about that. But
yeah.
ClickThompson.com, everything at Click Thompson. If you have me on Snap, I always tell people I'm a little slow on Snap. My Snap score is low. You can check it. It's not super high, so I will get back to you. But yeah, I mean, and as I tell everybody, if you see me in public, if you think it's me, most likely it's me. Feel free to say hi. As long as I'm not like in the bathroom, like, come on now, guys, I gotta come back.
Please give me some privacy there.
Give me some, but no, by all means, come visit, come say hi. If you follow me, more than likely I will follow you back because we met and we'll visit and stuff like that. And yeah, that's me.
That's you. Well, I ask everybody on my show this question, so here it comes.
All right.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. If you had to go back and tell younger Click something, what would it be and why?
Man, that's funny. I would tell myself, which I'd be like, just don't wait another month. Just do it. Like, I think there are so many times I get so many things done, like, cause I'm a planner and like, I want things done right, and it needs to be, and I hear things like in the back of my head, like my mom always talking about, don't name the family. That's what she would always say when I left the house, because she didn't know where I was going. But yeah, when something's worked out, or if like I've been on the edge of making a decision, and like usually it's pretty calculated. I'm like, oh, don't wait another month, just do it. And like when I did my first clinic, I was leaving a buddy's place, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going to do a clinic. Because I had previous things that happened, and there was kind of things that just made me hesitate, and I wanted to do it with other people, and it just wasn't working out. I'm like, I'm going to do it. And like in that hour drive, I maybe sent like 2 texts and an email, whatever, and everyone said yes. Yeah, we'll help you. Yeah, we'll send you stuff. Yeah, I'm like, well, like I made the confirmation in my head on Tuesday I was going to do it, and Friday I put up the flyer, and we were going.
Awesome.
Like it, so I'm like, yeah, just do it. I always tell people, I mean, chase the passion, but yeah, don't wait another month. Just do it. We're not promised another second, so why not now?
Yep, very true. You guys go and follow Click Thompson on all social media. Amazing pictures, and not just pictures. It's the moments. It's capturing moments behind the scenes, pro rodeo, all things, and it's great. Obviously, we're not like trying to let the cat out of the bag, but kind of letting the cat out of the bag. We got some really swank merch coming this fall, so stay tuned for that. It's coming.
We're doing it.
If you want to be in the crew, I mean, get you some merch. I mean, I don't know what else to say. If you don't have Click's face on you somewhere, you're out of style. I mean, that's just
come join the Click, man. It's cool over here.
Yeah, exactly. So Click, I'm very excited to see you down the road this summer. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been great to visit with you.
You bet.
Thank you for joining us on In the Loop Breakaway Roping Podcast. I truly appreciate all of your loyal support. Don't forget to leave me a review, share this episode with a friend, and if you have any questions, I want to hear from you. Email me at jordan@thebreakawayropingpodcast.com. Go check us out, sign up for our newsletter, get our email alerts, text alerts, and all things breakaway roping. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you down the road.